Hello my friends, David Burns, good to be with you on a Friday green answer day. Sitting in the green chair, going to talk about questions that you asked in my live stream last night that I didn't get a chance to answer. So we got a lot to do today answering questions. And remember, if these are questions that don't pertain to you right now, oh my gosh, if you keep bees any length of time at all, they will pertain to you in the near future. So be sure and listen. You might want to create some kind of a database of all these answers to help you if these questions come up pretty soon in your beekeeping endeavors. Good to be with you. I'm David Burns, EAS Certified Master Beekeeper, and today I'm going to tackle all of these questions. You guys really put me through the ropes. You keep me fresh in beekeeping knowledge, and I didn't get a chance to look over these. Sometimes I look over them so I can have some kind of a correct answer, because this is raw and unedited straight through, so you just get all my mistakes and everything. All right, let's jump right into it, and we'll start with Amy. What do you prefer and why? Wax dip or painted boxes? Yeah, for those of you brand new to beekeeping, you may not know about wax dipping. It's something that's been around a very long time, actually, but it's kind of gained popularity recently by different YouTube content creators that have been talking about it on their channel over the last few years. And now there's more manufacturers of big dipping equipment too, makes it easier. So wax dipping is when you mix a substance of a little, well, I don't know what the mixture is right off the top of my head, but it's beeswax and different things that are different wax substances that are mixed together. And you dip your boxes in there, and it's supposed to kind of make all the moisture come out of the wood, and it's replaced with the wax itself. And this makes the box last longer. And so some people have told me that they love it. Other people said it wasn't that great. So there's a kind of a mixture of opinion. But I think for the most part, people like it. It's a way to preserve your boxes. Now you're asking me, what do you prefer? So that's asking me a question. So this is just my personal opinion. And I don't have access to big, expensive wax dipping equipment. It is very expensive to buy that stuff. Then you have the propane expense of heating the wax. Then you have the wax expense, and then you have to buy the equipment. So I just can't bring myself to invest in that kind of money. If I was a big time commercial beekeeper with a lot of hives, a lot of equipment that I didn't want to lose, and I was very young, I would buy the equipment and have it dip. Now you can find people that do it for you. They'll charge you something, and they should, right? Because they're paying for the propane and the wax and all that, and the time. And it's dangerous. It's over 300 degree temperature. It's very dangerous thing to do. So you have to be careful when you do it. So they deserve their money when they're actually helping you wax dip or do it for you. No place around here. So what I prefer to do, in my opinion, is just to paint it. Or, as you can see, this hive back here, I got 2 supers on there, never been painted. They'll outlive me not being painted. So again, unless you're somebody that is really, you have a lot of hives and you're in it for a really long time, you've got to think about the cost of what it's going to take to get that wax dipped. Okay. And I think too, it's good to be good stewards of our equipment. I don't think it's good to go unpainted or undipped, because it is going to make it degrade faster. So that's my answer. Hey, Brian, how can you tell if your honey is from sugar water or nectar? Brian, you really can't. No, I mean, the way the bees will take the nectar from flowers or your feeding jars, and the way that they add their enzymes to it, and the way they turn it into honey is essentially the same way, whether it's sugar water or nectar. So you really can't tell the difference. Now, obviously, if you have bees that are out on orange trees, you can taste the orange blossom flavor. You know, you can tell different flavors, but yeah, sugar is going to be tough to tell the difference of. You just got to know what your bees are doing. Hey, Jerry, is this a good time of the year to relocate my hive in Michigan? You might want to wait a little bit longer. It'd be better if they're I know if there's no foraging, that's ideal, because those of you that are new to beekeeping or thinking about starting next year, if you move a hive during the foraging season when bees are in the spring and summer, bees are foraging for nectar. If you move that hive even 10 feet, the foragers will come back to their old spot and never know where their new spot is. Yeah, if you don't know that, that's alarming. So you either have to move them really far away where the foragers take a reorientation flight, move them at night, or you have to move them a few inches a day. I would wait until it gets a little bit colder and foraging is over for the year. That way, you're just not going to lose your foragers because they're not going out. And if a few go out, you might still lose a few, but not many. Edith, am I too late to be feeding 1-to-1 syrup per your advice? I'm near Lincoln, Nebraska. No, not if it's above 50 degrees Fahrenheit in the daytime. Edith, you can still feed 1-to-1. Even if it gets cooler at night, it's not gonna, they just may not eat as much, but they'll eat it during the daytime. I've got an important announcement to tell you guys at the end too. I want to clarify something, so watch this all the way through. It's going to be really helpful. George, hi David, is it too late for a hive to raise a new queen? Inspected a few days ago, did not see fresh eggs. So you're wondering, can your hive raise a replacement queen? Is it too late? It depends on if you have drones. If you still not, your queen isn't going to mate with her drones. Those are her brothers. But, I mean, your virgin queen. But it's possible that if you still have drones, that other colonies in your area may still have drones. And so that's the only thing. They can raise a queen, but can she get mated if they start killing their drones off in the fall? Now you can buy a mated queen. That's getting harder to do this late in the year, but anytime the weather's good enough for you to open the hive up and drop a queen in there, yeah, you can do that. In Kentucky, my bottom deeps are empty. Been feeding for months. Bees active. Colonies have queens. Should I combine? Oh, I love this question. I love it when somebody says, should I combine? What that tells me is that you mentioned the word combine because you feel something's not right, right? So like if you opened up a hive and they were so full of bees, I mean, they were just like boiling over and they was like, whoa, look at all the bees in here. Combining would not be in your vocabulary. But since it is in your vocabulary, I think you're the wiser one that knows they need to be combined. Something has triggered you to say that word, and that's because you don't think they're a good size. All right, next question. Requeen yesterday with intro cage and 5 attendants in middle of hive. Temps are 70, 40-ish next few days. Will they be okay? Should I leave them caged for 5 days or remove them before then? Thank you. Oh, let's remove them. So what you need to do, maybe you did it this way, but let me just go over this again. You have a new queen that you want to requeen a hive with, and she's in a cage with five attendants. That's a lot of attendants. I hope there's candy that separates the queen cage candy that separates the queen from the bees, right? And I want to make sure you're not, when you say, should I leave the cage for 5 days and remove them? So what I'm hoping that you did was you remove the cap or cork from your type of queen cage so the bees in the hive can eat through the candy, release the queen and the attendants. And if you did it that way, all should go well. And yeah, in about 5 days, you can come back and remove that cage out of there. Absolutely. Hey, Adam, good to see you. These are questions. Did I say this is raw and unedited? These are questions left over from my live stream that we didn't get a chance to answer. Please watch my live stream every Thursday night. We have a family, a community, a great camaraderie of beekeepers every Thursday night here on YouTube on my live stream where I'm live answering your questions. We have giveaways. We have a fun time together. 59 minutes is how long we go, about maybe an hour sometimes, but 59 minutes of fun. And these are leftover questions that we didn't get to in the 59 minutes. Adam says, I have 4 double deeps, and the top deeps have anywhere from 4 to 7 frames of brood, and the bottom deeps are resources. Will the bees reverse this order? Do they need to be reversed? Should I do it? I don't know if your bees are going to do it. I mean, it sounds like the bees have already done what they want to do. Should you do it? I kind of think so, Adam. I kind of don't like my bees in the wintertime going up and there's nothing up there. It sounds like all your honey is down below. As the winter goes on, they're not going to go down. I don't really think they will. They like to go up into the heat. I might reverse them. I hear feeding honeybees. When does it come from your? When it doesn't come from your hives, could it bring in American foul brood? That's a good question. So if you feed honey, oh, I see. Even an open feeder could. If other bees from another hive are open feeding in your open feeder, yeah, I could see where the concern of American foul brood spores being tracked around in the feeding boards, yeah, that can happen. So in other words, if you're feeding out in the open, or if you put some honey out, and there's spores of American foul brood in the honey, or the sugar water is contaminated by other bees carrying spores over there. However, I have read some studies where they tried to make that happen, and it was very difficult for them to make that happen. So, but American foul brood is very contagious, and I think that it's a wise thing to be concerned about that. I really do. No, like I said in the video that I made last week, I don't have American foul brood. I inspect my hives regularly for diseases and pests. I'm always concerned about that, and I don't have anything. So my bees here feeding on it aren't going to give other bees stuff. But I know in some states, someone told me on my comments that in Tennessee, for that very reason, they don't allow you to open feed. So it's something to be concerned about. Absolutely. Hey, John, have you experienced misjudging a queen because the bees were hungry and cannibalizing the larvae? Absolutely, I have. And I've made videos, I've made 2 or 3 videos about this very subject. People will kill their queen because they don't like the brood pattern. And it's not the queen, it's the bees. The bees are starving, they're eating, they're cannibalizing the larvae and the eggs for protein. I had a hive back here, and I followed it on my YouTube channel, made videos about it. You need to always watch my videos so you can know these answers. But she wasn't doing good, spotty brood pattern. About this time of the year, 2 or 3 years ago, she was up in a super, so I just moved her in the super off onto a bottom board with the top cover. She made it through winter, and now in her 3rd year, I think, down here, she's doing really good in my other bee yard. They have 4 boxes on there doing great. So it wasn't a queen. So that's an important thing for me to tell you. A lot of people are afraid of protein. I don't know why that is. Beekeepers sometimes think that, some beekeepers think that protein in the fall or the winter is going to hurt bees or something. It doesn't. Bees actually have a way of disconnecting their wings from their muscle, their thoracic muscle, and that way they can make heat with their muscle by shivering that muscle, and that makes winter heat without moving their wings. And they need protein like we do. You work out, you need protein to replenish the muscles and all. Bees need that in the wintertime too. So if they don't have it, they're going to eat, cannibalize their larvae and eggs. I'll tell you right now, that's one of the things I learned many, many years ago, a couple of centuries ago, a couple of decades ago. I learned that my bees were cannibalizing larvae because they didn't have any protein in the fall. That's why I feed 1-to-1 in the fall with my additives to prevent that. Wow, that's a good question. Carl, hi David. Joey would like, oh, I see Carl and Joey. They were here and we did some filming. Good to see you guys here on the live stream. Joey would like to paint the super. Does it matter on the type of paint? She would like to paint it purple. Is a color a problem? I feel, my personal opinion is that latex paint is the best. I wouldn't use oil base. It doesn't allow the wood to breathe. Latex works really good. A good latex with either a built-in primer or prime it first. Always use exterior latex. Works really great. The color, it doesn't really matter. You live in Indiana, Carl, not too far from me, so our climates are similar. If I was in the deep south, I'd be concerned about painting it a dark color for heat, absorbing heat in the summer. But yeah, purple is fine. I wouldn't worry about that at all. It'd be fine. Have Joey have a good time. And that's a pretty color. Some people love, I've seen a lot of purple hives actually. Hey Derek, how cold is too cold to open up a hive? Really simple, 65 degrees is what we want to aim for Fahrenheit to be that warm or warmer. Otherwise you pull a frame up, it could damage or kill, cold chill your brood, especially your pupae, and have chilled brood, and they will die. So don't do that. Do you remove the green drone comb for winter since the bees won't be producing any drones? It's a good idea to get rid of the green drone comb. If you don't, what happens is in the spring or late winter, the queen will lay drones on it, and you won't have good weather to go in there and pull it out to freeze the drones to kill the mites, and they're going to be a mite factory. So probably a good idea to get those out of there. Hey Todd, any opinion on the nikot method for queen rearing? Trying to decide to graft of the nikot. The nikot is the graft-free method. I started queen rearing with that. It's legitimate. It's good. If you're not comfortable with grafting, that might be the best plan for you. But if you're comfortable with grafting, I like grafting. I like that. It's fun for me. I can control the timing and such, but yeah, I started with the nikot and shifted over to grafting to give me more of what I was after in my operation. Leslie, can a queenless hive survive winter if there is minimal brood but a lot of resources in the hive? Oh, can a queenless hive? Yeah. Yeah, a queenless hive, if they have winter bees, they can survive winter, but without a queen, because the queen's always laying some brood all winter, a little bit. And in my case, it's a lot because I feed them all winter. But I think what you're going to deal with is a rapid decline of your hive in late winter. So without the queen laying, the hive's going to die really fast. And you won't be able to find a queen in the spring because most of them are going into packages. There's a bug in my water. I'll try to not drink it. So it's hard to find a queen in the spring, early spring. So it's better to get things queen right before you go into winter. But yeah, they can survive, but boy, they die quickly because those winter bees can't hang on much past, in my case, much past March. No, April or May, they start dying off. All right, I'm in South Carolina. Temperature's getting in the 40s at night. Should I stop feeding sugar water? You don't have to stop feeding if it gets in the 40. You can leave it on there. When it warms up, the sugar water warms up and the bees will eat it above 50 degrees Fahrenheit again. If you want to take it off and put it inside or in a refrigerator or something to preserve it, you can do that. But yeah, you can keep feeding them if it's getting 70 degrees in the daytime. You know, that's a good time for bees to keep eating. Hey Michael, when do you remove your robber screen? Yeah, I've answered that question a lot. I keep it on there until I can tell bees aren't flying out and scavenging everything. I still see bees coming around my camera, looking around my water cup, and they're looking, so I can't take them off, you know. Yeah. Wait until the bees pretty much have stopped foraging for things. That's going to be when you've had a couple of good cold snaps, and bees are like, yeah, it's over. All right, hi David, can you tell a killer bee from others? I don't like to use the word killer bees. I know people do. And what they're referring to is Apis mellifera scutellata, the Africanized honeybee. And you really can't tell the difference with the naked eye by looking at them. They look identical in size and everything. The only difference you can tell is their characteristics are much more defensive, aggressive. Like if you're working a hive of Italian bees and you get a few bees that start getting, you know, popping you on your hat and veil, and there's maybe a couple of stings or something, and you walk away. You don't have to walk very far, and they don't follow you anymore. An Africanized colony will follow you for a long ways. I'm talking about a half mile or a mile in great numbers. That's about the only way you can tell the difference. You can put them under a microscope. There are labs that will test, and they can measure it, and it's a precise slight difference. If my memory serves me right, I think the Africanized bee is slightly smaller on the wing measurements and all, but you can't tell it by looking at them side by side. No, just by their characteristics. Good question though. Nicholas, how far will a hive beetle travel? I've read up to 12 miles. But they fly a long way. Some people don't think beetles fly, but they fly. And they fly to find weak colonies. So that's why they're so hard to control sometimes, because you may not have any in your yard, and they're flying in from who knows where over and to get into your weak colonies. So yeah, they fly a long ways. At what temperature, Janelle, at what temperature do you put insulation in top cover? We use our Winter Be Kind, I do, for my insulation. And at what temperature? I would say if you're in a climate where it gets below freezing for a long period of time, you need to have top insulation to help that. But if you live in the deep south where you just don't have, you know, a whole month of freezing temperatures, it's maybe not as crucial. So yeah, it's a big difference of keeping bees in the north and keeping bees in the south. John, hey David, from upstate New York. My one hive lost queen, and on Saturday I merged them with newspaper method. Another beekeeper said, "Be careful, that might kill the good queen. They may kill the good queen. When can I do an inspection?" Combining hives, like a weak hive that has a bad queen, maybe you got rid of that queen, you combine them with a stronger colony. You're concerned they could kill the queen of the big strong colony. That's never happened to me. It's possible. The person that told you that probably isn't wrong. That could happen. But I would wait 2 or 3 days and do an inspection. What you can do is kill the queen in the weak hive about 24 hours before you combine them. That cuts down on the queen mandibular pheromone, and so the bees might just be ready to merge together. There won't be any leftover queen mandibular pheromone. And they know they need to accept the other queen too. Christina, I was dealing with a robbing frenzy today, and the queen was out of the hive on top of the lid with a very large amount of bees with her. Whoa, that's crazy. Is this normal for the queen to leave during bad robbing? No, it's not normal. I would have loved for you to videotape that. Did you videotape that? Wow. Well, what happens is in a robbing frenzy like this, the bees are just, it's so terrible that your colony abandoned ship. They got out of town. Sometimes they'll abscond to get away from the intense robbing. So that's what they were doing. They were just getting away from that. It's like, and also what happens a lot of times is that the robbing colony will come and start robbing, and they have some kind of way of influencing all the bees there in the hive being robbed to go back with them and start working for them. Like, if you come back and work for us, we won't kill you. And we're just going to still help us carry your honey back to our hive. And sometimes that happens. In this case, your hive abandoned ship. Wow, I'm sorry to hear that. That's sad. Wonder what they did. Did they stay on top? The mystery. I might have to make that my thumbnail of this video. Like robbing frenzy, hive abandoned ship. Hey Tom, would a herbicide cause harm to bees that I have, and or is there best time of the year to do this? Western Pennsylvania. Herbicides, I feel like they're really hard on bees because they kill the things that bees live on. The weeds, the flowers from weeds, like, you know, dandelions, we put herbicides. I don't, but people put herbicides on dandelions to kill dandelions, and all the flowers that bees need for food are killed by herbicides. I can't really, now some people, there's one side of the fence that says herbicides are bad for bees. They have a sublethal effect on bees over winter. So, you know, I'm not going to get into that argument, but herbicides aren't good for bees. I don't use them. I don't like it. My farmer and I, we negotiate when he's going to do it and which way the wind is blowing. I just want to play it safe. Some people say herbicides never hurt bees. It's not even designed to hurt a living animal. I mean, bees are animal in the animal kingdom. But I still don't like it. I just like to stay away from that kind of, anything with "side" on the end of it means death. In Florida right now, before the hurricane hit, just one of my hives, the bees were bearding on the outside and blocked the entrance and were getting soaked by the rain. Is this normal? First-year beekeeper. So sorry to hear about you're in the path of that hurricane. Last night during the live stream, we encouraged our viewers not to donate to the live stream, but instead donate to a rescue or a resource, what's the word I'm looking for? Some organization that would help bring relief to all the recent 2 hurricanes that have affected so much of the U.S. And so, yeah, I'm saddened, and certainly best wishes for those of you that are experiencing that. That's really traumatic. When bees collect on the outside and they get wet like that, they go into a state which is called torpor, T-O-P-O-R. Torpor means that the bees kind of go into metabolic slowdown. They just kind of preserve all of their energy, and they don't do much until they can warm up again and start doing things again. So torpor. It's not really bad for bees. They have a way of getting soaked and cold like that, and they look dead. Their wings are glued to their side. They look like they're just a wet dog. You know, they're done for. But then it warms up and they dry out and they're all back in business. It's pretty cool. I guess we do the same thing on a rainy day too. We look like a wet dog and we dry off and back to business, right? Oh, well, hopefully things worked out good in that rain like that. You recovered okay. Carl, have you used GrubX around the bottom of your hives to control a small hive beetle? GrubX really works well. I use GrubX to control different beetles in my yard because different kind of beetles attract those moles that make those ridges and holes in my yard. I hate that. And so I've used GrubX on my yard, and a lot of beekeepers are using GrubX around their hive now. It's not labeled for GrubX, but a lot of people are using it and finding great results. It will kill your small hive beetle larvae. So it will greatly cut down on the advanced increase of your small hive beetles, absolutely. But it's not labeled that way. All right, Edith, how long do you feed 1-to-1 syrup in the fall? I feed it usually until it gets cold enough where I can't. So 50 degrees Fahrenheit in the daytime or below, bees aren't taking it much anymore. And I'll stop, I'll wait a month, and I'll start my winter bee kind boards. All right, another question. Gene, how far can a drone fly after mating? The distance of, here comes a big breeze. That's why I wore this, it's called a dead cat. That's a horrible name in it. A dead cat mic windshield for my mic. So I got distracted here. Okay, how long can a drone fly after mating? All the way to the ground. Yeah, splat. Yeah, they don't fly after that. After they mate, they're done for. They die. Their male genitalia break off, and it's just too much of a traumatic injury for the drone to carry on a normal life after that. After that, as you can imagine. So yeah, if you're in a, hey, by the way, if you were so fortunate to be under a drone congregation area where virgin queens are flying into, you would actually, they say, you can hear the popping of the, I can't think of the scientific word, now I can't think of a good word. The popping of the male genitalia extension, you can hear that popping. And then when they mate, they say you can actually see drones falling out of the sky around you if you're under that. So that's kind of how that goes. All right. All right, what makes a hive smell almost soured, like a rotting apple smell? I and my mentor have went through it. No disease, small hive beetle, or wax moth. Well, okay. 2 things can make a hive smell. Probably a lot of things, but 2 come to mind. You have the American foul brood smelling, or probably this is what you're experiencing this time of the year, is the asters that are smelling. Like goldenrod has exactly as you described it, a bad smell. It's an awkward. You can walk past these hives and smell it if the wind is just right. And so yeah, that's probably what you're smelling. Mike, do you use ground drench? Oh, we answered this about GrubX. Oh, Guardstar. Guardstar is, I think, labeled for small hive beetle larvae killing in the soil. Just don't use a compression sprayer where it makes a mist. You want to do a drenching to be safe. It's very toxic chemical for you and everything else, your bees. So, my gosh, be real careful when applying Guardstar. I had to use it many years ago because of small hive beetle. And it does the trick on soil drench. Yeah, but be careful with it for sure. Okay, one more question, and then I got something I want to tell you that's a cool announcement for me. You may not like it, but Sherry, my bees don't make a lot of propolis. Is this normal? It can be, Sherry. It can be that the DNA, the genetic trait of your bees just don't make propolis. They're not wired to go for propolis. You know, it can also be that in your area you don't have a lot of plants and trees that are really advantageous for bees to get a lot of propolis from. So that could be it too. Yep. So it's not a big deal about this announcement, but I did want to mention this today. Oh, before I do though, let me mention this. Sherry and I, in 2020, we wrote a book together. And it's not a self-published book. This book, we were approached by a publishing company and said, would you guys write a book for us? And we did. And we've sold a lot of these books. They're available on Amazon. A lot of you bought them from us. You buy these weekly from us. Appreciate it. Backyard beekeeping, everything you need to know to start your first hive. And I think you'll like this book. We spent a lot of time. Sherry wrote one half of it, and I wrote the other half. That was the only way that we could finish the book, really, in the short time that they gave us. We both went to work on it. But it is a very nice book. It's really good for new beginners, or if you're a new beekeeper that's starting out, or you're thinking about starting in 2025 or next year, whenever you're watching this, next spring. This book can help you make the decision if you want to start keeping bees. So if you buy it from us, we'll be glad to autograph it. You can get it on Amazon, but it won't be autographed. But if you want to get it off our website, I'll leave a link here and in the description. But you can get our book too. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about tonight, it's daytime today, is some scamming that's been going on. Not with my channel, not with me or anything, but I've noticed other YouTubers that are experiencing scammers affecting their YouTube channels. So let me talk about this. If you look at my name, my profile below this video, you'll see a picture of me. It's got a little blue background of a hexagon bee comb behind me. That's a picture of me. And beside my name, there's a little check mark. And I think it might say verified. I can't remember, but it means verified. Now, a lot of people everybody gets their YouTube channel verified, to start whatever. But this is a second type of verification. It's different. You have to have 100,000 subscribers. You have to go through more authenticating yourself with YouTube and all. And I went through all that process to get that extra check mark. That check mark is designed to make sure that anything from me is from me and not some scammer. So what people do, what scammers do, and they've done it to many YouTube channels, and they've done it to my channel. And I just caught it before you saw it. This was many years ago. YouTube has done a lot better, but they've done it to my channel. Like at times when we have giveaways on my YouTube channel, there would be scammers that would screenshot my profile picture, and they would leave in my comments a picture of me, and they would say, hey, you won. Please call this number, send your bank account, blah, blah, blah. It looks like it's from me. And I don't do that. I will never send you a comment asking for information or telling you to call me or that you won something in my comments. I'm not going to ever do that. I've never done that. That's scamming. But in this case, since I've been double verified, my profile picture always has the check mark. You'll notice when I leave a comment, you'll see my profile picture and that black YouTube check mark. I think it says verified. But that's a double layer of protection for you. And I've gone to the trouble to do that. And I just thought I'd tell you that. Now, I don't know why people have to scam. Isn't it awful? It's terrible. I read all the time of people falling for these scams that happen. So be very careful what you might fall for. If you won something, you probably haven't, okay? Another scam, and I say this to the content creators, but all of you too, be careful what you open up in your email. Like I get a steady stream. When you get a larger YouTube channel, people are constantly trying to email you, scammers, and they want you to open up viruses. And so one of the common ones that content creators get is they get a letter from, or email from a big time camera company. I'm not going to mention any names, but you know that I'm using that camera now. And it'd be an email that says, "Oh, David, I've gotten this email." And it says, "David, we love your channel. You're awesome. You know, we want to give you free cameras. We want to give you camera after camera. These $1,000 cameras. We want to give you these $1,000 cameras. And we'll work with you," and blah, blah, blah. Just open up the file, the attached file for the contract. Well, I already knew that was a scam. I didn't open it up, but it's a PDF file. And when you open it, it's a virus that instantly attacks your YouTube channel. Just like that, they take over your YouTube channel instantly. And now you don't have any control over the YouTube channel that you've created over all these years. And believe me, every day I get legitimate sponsorships from companies wanting to sponsor my channel. And every day I get several scams wanting to scam me, telling me they're going to sponsor my channel. I just want to caution you, those of you that are opening emails, be careful to open PDF files. I get emails saying, "Hey, your order has a problem. Click on this file to, repair this problem or fix this problem with your order." Don't open those. They're scams. You got to be careful. So YouTube is a great place. YouTube has really been great for me. I have the ability to contact a YouTube agent just like that, and they work with me to solve any kind of problems or weird things that are going on with my channel. That doesn't happen very often, but sometimes I have to talk to them. And they're so helpful, and YouTube has gone out of their way. When I first started doing YouTube, 2008, and shortly after that, I had to turn my comments off back in the early days because YouTube just didn't have the ability or didn't police comments like they do now. But YouTube really polices comments now. If you get on my channel and you hate me, try to say bad things and cuss me out and leave stupid links or scam links and all, most of those I never see those. YouTube clamps those down before they even show up to me. And if I see anything like that, if you leave a comment that is, and I don't get these very often, hardly at all, but if you attack me, call me names and all that stuff, that's being deleted. That's not going to stay up there. So YouTube, it's a great place where we can really have a community. I live stream on YouTube. I love it. We've developed this great community camaraderie of beekeepers getting together every Thursday night. So YouTube has really served me well, I will say. It's given me an opportunity to speak right now to a lot of beekeepers that I couldn't do otherwise. If I tried to speak one-on-one with people, I couldn't reach the community that I can reach around the world through YouTube. But just be careful. Don't believe anything you get from me. If you see a comment from me on my YouTube channel or something that is a scam, it probably is. That's why I've double-checked and gone through the process of getting verified twice. Okay. Well, guys, I have a great video coming up, and I'd love for you to watch it. I think it'll be a big help. It's the favorite video my videographer loves so much, Patrick. He loves the hive to bottle video that I made about how to take honey out of your hive and run it through your extractor, strain it, put it in a bottle. And you still may be doing that. I'm thinking about doing some more extraction here soon. So if you're still in that process, watch this video. It's got over 70,000, 80,000 views now. Check it out over here, guys. I'll see you over there. Thanks so much for watching.